Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. If you want to know how to get back your ex-girlfriend and boyfriend, click the link below.
The discomfort will not go away. Should I get out of here? I'm up late because I can't quit thinking about what's happened since September 2021. D-Day being around the 2nd of September. I'm locked in a cycle where things get marginally better and then worse. The backstory is as follows. Disclaimer: very long. Before we chose to marry, my husband and I dated for 7 to 8 years. I'll admit that he was always considerably more serious about our relationship than I was, but I knew I wanted to remain with him as the years passed. When we got engaged, he seemed nervous about the whole affair, was highly uncooperative during the wedding planning process, and nearly called the wedding off but ultimately decided to go ahead with it. I assumed it simply nerved the whole time and ignored several red signals. There was no other way in my mind for this to end other than with us being married. In November 2019, I married. The first few months of marriage were wonderful. We loved living together for the first time, and so on. Then there was the epidemic in March 2020, and I suppose being alone with me for a few months made him despise many things about me. We'd disagree, but every relationship does. I always assumed they were gone and forgotten, but not. We moved from being intimate on occasion to not at all as his hate intensified. He would rather be out with his pals than spend time with me. In December 2020, a friend of his married. We both know the couple, but he is closer to them. They moved to our city and began spending all of their time with us. Their marriage failed, and they were already talking about divorce after only a month together. I began to feel toxic around them, always discussing their difficulties, etc., and I believe this contributed to the deterioration of our friendship. The girl from the other pair began to confide in my husband, which I tolerated until it became excessive. They'd arrange plans for both couples to hang out all the time. In addition, my spouse was becoming increasingly disrespectful to me, as if he didn't care or love me. Being out late all of the time with friends, etc. It got to the point where I couldn't continue, so we decided to start anew and schedule a time to spend with each other again, such as date evenings. For a few weeks, everything improved briefly, and I began to feel much better. Around that time, we went to a friend's birthday party, husband of the couple listed above, and something about the energy between my husband and his wife felt odd. This wasn't the first time I'd had a similar sense, but I dismissed my intuition. I couldn't feel that something was wrong 2 days later, so I went to check his phone. I didn't even know his password until he said it out loud at the party to let someone use his phone. He's been keeping his phone under wraps for a time now. That was the end of my tranquility. Found texts between them in which they express their love for one another and want to be together. Only the texts from that day remained, the others had been removed. I was awake all night, crying and pondering my options. The next morning, I sat him down and brought it up, first asking him, allowing him to come clean. I had to inform him I'd read the texts after he denied it. His initial instinct was not an apology or remorse, it was an excuse that she was in a bad situation because of her marital, family problems, and he was trying to help her. I then explained that I had texted my sister for help since I was a wreck and needed it. He immediately began to cry, realizing that someone else knew and that he wouldn't be able to persuade her to believe his narrative. He then sobbed and apologized, pleading with me not to inform his friend, her husband. The whole thing is a shambles. After that, I demanded that he delete her phone number and pledge never to contact her again. I kept a careful eye on his phone for a few days until he decided he wouldn't allow me to check it anymore and changed all of his passwords. He went on to tell me about all of his problems with me and our marriage and how we both need to work hard to save it. I made it plain that we needed to go to counseling and that he had to regain my trust or I would leave. I believe he attempted to keep me because he didn't want anyone to know what he had done. He still claims it was nothing, but I know it was an AITA, if not more. We went to couples counseling, where he said unequivocally that he will do as he pleases, that he has spent several years of our relationship doing things for me and is now ready to do things for himself, and so on. We agreed to give it a couple of months and see how things went. Here we are, a few months later. I'm disappointed, depressed, and angry. I don't have any closure, and I feel unattractive and unloved. We're living together as housemates. I was about to walk out when he said to give it some more time. Is he truly hoping this will work, or is he just buying time so the affair won't be the reason for his divorce and his family and friends won't find out? He won't answer any of my questions or taunts about the affair, and he says it's time for me to get over it and move on. The pain is still there, coming back in waves of wrath that enrage me. I'm at a loss for what to do. I feel like I'm simply staying to maintain the peace because I know I'm entitled to more. Please offer any advice or personal experience you may have. Is it ever going to get better? Is he ever going to love me again? Will the discomfort subside? This is not how I want to live. I'm insecure and depressed. He's made me feel like I'm not good enough to be loved by anyone. Here is the greatest comments advice for this wonderful article that I gathered. You must inform your pal about his wife. Then you must inform the rest of your family, as well as his, as to what is going on and why. Please don't give him the chance to sway the story in his favor. As others have stated, he is playing for time to benefit from his exit. He goes through the motions of counseling but never does the work necessary to repair the relationship. You could run in place for the entire day and not get anywhere. He's just wasting your time at this point. If he were truly remorseful, he would do everything to make amends, repair the relationship, and earn your forgiveness and trust once more. This doesn't seem to be the case, which leads me to believe he isn't apologetic and has no idea what his at the very least, has done to you. I'm guessing he does not want to be found out. You deserve better, and his friend has the right to know that he, too, is married to a cheater. There will come a day when you will be overjoyed to let this loser go and move on with your life. You are deserving of so much more. The biggest problem here, love, is that your spouse shows no regret for his crimes. The initial powerful reaction, as well as all the crying unfaithful spouses perform, is because they have been discovered. They're cornered and don't know what to do, especially when there's irrefutable evidence. Their behavior after D-Day shows their genuine motives. He believes he can keep his phone secret, refuse to answer questions about what he did, and disregard your trauma should give you a good idea of how he feels about you. No matter how much someone claims to love, their actions must match their words. I know you care about him, but he doesn't care enough about you to put you first and apologize for what he's done. You've reached your breaking point, and with good reason. It's time to get out of here. It sounds like he's trying to keep you around, so you don't ruin his friendship. He's buying time by reassuring you that everything will be fine. It isn't going to work out. He's not interested in regaining your trust, he's changed his passwords after all. You're no longer in a relationship or married. It's heartbreaking, but it's true. If you don't have children yet, now is the best time to depart. You will be eternally grateful for your departure in the future. Best wishes. I'm sorry for what's happened to you. It's as easy as that. He cheated. When you violate a relationship's border, you've created. The cheater must demonstrate guilt, shame, and, most importantly, remorse if there is any prospect of reconciliation. He hasn't demonstrated any. If not with this woman, then with someone else, he'll do it again and again. According to your description, your relationship is over, and he has no desire to salvage it. Staying merely adds to your suffering. You sound like a lovely and strong lady who does not deserve this. Find your inner strength and do what you know you need to do. Believe someone when they show you who they are. Best wishes. Tell everyone what's going on, including the other woman's husband. Then get out of there and hire a divorce attorney as soon as possible. Your husband is a liar and a cheat who is assaulting you emotionally, and he will continue to do so as long as you stay. You're handing over control of your reconciliation and marriage to him. He's abusing his power by treating you badly, assuming you'll never do what he's afraid of, and informing his husband, his friend, and family how bad he is. He can live with himself as long as you're the only one who knows. He's probably also terrified of you abandoning him. There's a reason he's not with her. Take away his authority. So he's terrified and is projecting his anxiety onto you to keep you quiet. In many adultery stories, the cheaters make fun of their wives, but how would cheating help her if she's afraid of him? And, as you pointed out, how does it save her, particularly while he's still with you? What nonsense. I'm sorry you found yourself in this predicament, Op. Take care of yourself. At this moment, your priority should be you, while he should be healing the marriage. Get a lawyer and do what they suggest before. If you expose them if you're not staying, ask a lawyer about exposing them or at least telling the truth to loved ones. If he knows you're leaving but haven't told anyone the real reason, I'm sure he'll try to shift the narrative about your marriage. Still, it's better to seek legal advice first. If you want to stay, try counseling with and without him. His verbal abuse, which he uses to keep you quiet, is causing your mental health to suffer even more. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Please tell me what you think. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button. Keep an eye out for more cheating stories.